Picture this: a dimly lit conference room in Ottawa, closed doors, hushed voices, and the weight of a decision that could shake the world. A small team of Canadian defense officials sits around a table, pens hovering over papers, laptops glowing. Outside, Washington is about to learn something that will make diplomats scramble and analysts question their assumptions. Canada, America's closest ally in NORAD, has just said no to the F-35, the crown jewel of U.S. military aviation. This isn't about saving a few dollars or trimming a budget. This is about sovereignty, independence, and the ability to make decisions that put Canada's interests first. While most of the world assumed Canada would quietly follow Washington's lead, Ottawa chose a different path. Sweden's Gripen E fighter jet. It's not just a contract, it's a statement. A G7 nation has just demonstrated it won't be tethered to a foreign system, no matter how prestigious or powerful. The reactions were immediate and intense. Across the border, U.S. diplomats called emergency meetings. Pentagon analysts dusted off technical reports, trying to calculate what this means for NORAD and NATO interoperability. European allies whispered in corridors of power, questioning what such a move might signal about global defense norms. Even military experts who had long assumed the F-35 was untouchable had to pause and rethink. This is more than a story about jets, it's a story about power, independence, and technological control. Canada just flipped the script, and the world is paying attention. To understand Canada's decision, you need to see the bigger picture, the philosophy behind the aircraft. On one side, there's the F-35 Lightning II, often called the most advanced fighter jet on the planet. It's designed to be a networked war machine, where every jet is part of a global data network. Pilots share real-time information with other F-35s, drones, and command centers. Sounds incredible, right? But here's the catch. All of this runs through American servers. From mission updates to engine diagnostics, everything is controlled externally. Canadian pilots aren't fully in command. They're essentially renting the technology. If a problem arises, they have to wait for U.S. engineers to troubleshoot, and their autonomy is limited by software and access they don't control. Enter the Gripen E from Sweden. This jet was built around a very different philosophy: technological sovereignty. Canada doesn't just buy the aircraft, it buys the knowledge, the tools, and the rights to maintain and modify them on its own soil. Canadian engineers can swap engines, update software, or adjust mission systems without calling Stockholm. They have full access to the source code, which means they can tailor the plane for their unique needs, like flying in Arctic conditions, without seeking permission. Think of it this way: the F-35 is like leasing a high-end sports car. You get the speed and performance, but if something breaks, you call the dealership and hope they send someone fast. The Gripen? That's like buying the same sports car outright, with the manual, the parts, and the ability to fix it yourself whenever, wherever. This isn't a minor technicality. It's about who controls the knowledge behind the aircraft. Canada is betting that real security comes not from owning hardware, but from owning the systems that make it work. And in a world where technology increasingly defines military power, that distinction matters more than ever. Canada isn't just thinking about air combat over cities or training exercises, it's thinking about the Arctic, the harshest frontier of its territory. Imagine temperatures plunging to -40 degrees Celsius, winds gusting at over 100 kilometers per hour, and runways buried under thick layers of snow and ice. In these conditions, a fighter jet isn't just tested, it's pushed to its absolute limits. The F-35, for all its sophistication, was not designed for these extreme conditions. It needs a long, meticulously maintained runway, about 2,400 meters, and advanced heating systems to operate safely. That makes launching and landing in remote Arctic locations extremely challenging. A minor glitch or icy strip could ground the jet, slowing surveillance and reducing operational readiness. Now consider the Gripen E. This jet thrives in harsh environments. It only needs about 800 meters to take off or land, which means it can operate from frozen highways, makeshift airstrips, or remote forward bases. Its Rolls-Royce EJ230 engine is specifically built for northern European winters, where winter lasts longer than summer. Maintenance is streamlined. A six-person crew can swap engines or troubleshoot systems on-site in under an hour, even in a blizzard. This makes a huge strategic difference. As climate change opens new Arctic shipping routes and as oil and gas exploration becomes feasible under the Arctic Ocean, Canada needs jets that can respond quickly and reliably anywhere across its vast northern territories. Gripen doesn't just fly, it adapts to the environment, giving Canada real coverage where it counts. By understanding the Arctic reality, you can see why Canada's choice isn't just philosophical. It's practical and necessary for defending the far north. Choosing the Gripen isn't just about surviving the Arctic. It's about turning geography into an advantage. Canada's vast territory demands flexibility, and this is where Gripen truly shines. With the budget for 65 F-35s, Ottawa can purchase 88 Gripens. That means more aircraft in the air, more coverage, and a stronger deterrent. Each jet can disperse to multiple remote bases, so even if a primary airfield is compromised, Canada can maintain operational capability across its northern frontier. The Gripen is also a master of electronic warfare. Its advanced systems can make enemy radar effectively blind, a huge edge when monitoring sensitive areas or responding to potential threats. Compare that to aging CF-18s, which must return to base every few hours, and you can see how Gripen dramatically increases sortie rates and operational readiness. Russia's Arctic buildup highlights the stakes. They're building new air bases, installing radar lines, and deploying nuclear icebreakers to secure resources and shipping lanes. Canada needs aircraft that can match or exceed that level of flexibility, and Gripen does it efficiently. It can operate from short strips, endure blizzards, and perform rapid maintenance without outside help. In essence, this isn't just a political choice, it's a smart military strategy. Gripen turns Canada's geography from a challenge into an advantage, strengthens its northern defenses, and provides a credible deterrent against emerging threats, all while remaining cost-effective. Canada's choice didn't just ripple through its air force, it shook international relations. Washington didn't react quietly. Pentagon teams were dispatched to assess the technical implications, and the U.S. ambassador requested an urgent meeting in Ottawa. The message was clear. Choosing Gripen could affect interoperability with U.S. forces and even require adjustments in NORAD protocols. But the story doesn't stop at Washington. NATO allies were watching closely. Countries like Poland started inviting Saab delegations to explore alternatives. Spain requested detailed reports on Gripen's operating costs, and even Australia, a staunch F-35 supporter, began quietly questioning long-term dependence on U.S. technology. Canada's decision sent a signal. Allies are not captive markets. They can pursue sovereignty without undermining alliances. This move also challenges the global narrative that the F-35 is the only path to advanced defense. By prioritizing technological independence and operational flexibility, Canada is showing that smaller or mid-sized nations can assert control over their defense strategies without sacrificing security. In short, this is more than a fighter jet decision. It's a diplomatic statement. It demonstrates that technological self-reliance is possible, practical, and even desirable, inspiring countries around the world to reconsider how they approach defense procurement. The Gripen deal isn't just about planes. It's a game-changer for Canada's economy and aerospace industry. Unlike the F-35, where most of the money flows back to the United States, the Gripen contract comes with a full technology transfer. Canada will handle final assembly in Montreal, manufacture about 40% of major components domestically, and train 3,000 aerospace engineers over the next decade. This has, a ripple effect across communities. Companies like Bombardier, which might have been sidelined under an F-35 purchase, now become strategic partners. Universities, including McGill and Waterloo, gain opportunities in avionics research, creating a pipeline of homegrown talent. Defense dollars that once left the country now fuel local innovation, create jobs, and strengthen national technical expertise. The financial picture is striking. Operating a Gripen costs roughly $8,000 per flight hour, compared to $35,000 to $47,000 for an F-35. Over 30 years, that's a $12 billion saving, money that can be reinvested into Arctic surveillance, UAV systems, border radar upgrades, and national cybersecurity initiatives. In short, Canada isn't just buying jets, it's buying autonomy and building an industrial ecosystem. This is a rare example where defense spending simultaneously strengthens national security and the domestic economy, turning a military decision into a strategic economic advantage. One of the most powerful aspects of the Gripen deal is the control it gives Canada over its own Air Force. When an F-35 experiences a software glitch, Canadian pilots must wait for Lockheed Martin engineers to arrive with specially encrypted laptops, sometimes days away. The Gripen flips that dynamic entirely. Canadian RCAF tech crews can diagnose issues and fix them on site the same day, keeping operations smooth and uninterrupted. Training is another game changer. The Gripen's pilot-centric cockpit, with large touchscreens and intuitive interfaces, allows new pilots to become operational in about 6 months, compared to 18 months for the F-35. That means more pilots trained faster, more flexible rotations, and less reliance on United States-based training programs. Canada can maintain readiness independently, without waiting for foreign schedules or approvals. Perhaps most importantly, Canada gains full source code access. This allows the military to customize algorithms for Arctic operations, integrate Gripen systems with domestic early warning networks, and adjust electronic warfare capabilities to their specific needs, all without Stockholm's permission. This isn't just about convenience, it's about strategic independence. Controlling the knowledge behind the technology is what makes a country truly self-reliant. It's a lesson in history, too. Decades ago, Canada killed the Avro-Aero program under external pressure, losing a generation of aerospace expertise. This time, history won't repeat itself. With the Gripen, Canada builds a homegrown cadre of engineers, pilots, and technicians ready to maintain sovereignty in defense for decades. Canada's decision to choose the Gripen E isn't just about a fighter jet. It's a bold declaration of national sovereignty. It shows the world that a country doesn't have to choose between security and independence. By controlling its own technology, maintaining operational autonomy, and investing in local talent and industry, Canada is shaping its own destiny. For NATO, this decision is a lesson in flexibility. Alliances don't weaken when members diversify their technology. They become stronger by adapting to different capabilities and approaches. For Washington, it's a reminder that allies are partners, not captive markets, and that national decisions will be guided by strategy, not pressure. Globally, mid-sized nations can take note. With the right strategy, you can defend your territory, grow your economy, and maintain sovereignty simultaneously. The Gripen has become more than a Swedish aircraft. It's a symbol of autonomy, innovation, and strategic foresight. In the end, Canada now controls its air power, its knowledge, and its future. Defense dollars stay within the country, engineers are trained locally, and the Arctic is defended without asking anyone for permission. History won't repeat itself this time. The next generation of Canadian aerospace professionals will look back and see that their country chose independence over dependency. If you found this analysis valuable, hit the like and subscribe button. We'll continue exploring stories that reveal the real strategies behind world events, stories that few dare to tell.